It's time for Medford Rogues baseball as the Rogues take on the best of the West in the Great West League. Don't miss a minute of the action. Listen to every Medford Rogues game all season long, live on MedfordRogues.com. Now, it's time for Medford Rogues baseball. Here's the voice of the Rogues, Brian Schnee.
Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. My name is Brian Schnee. This is Medford Rogues baseball, live from Harry and David Field in Medford, Oregon. A pleasure to be with you and a pleasure to bring you this matchup, the first of three between the Chico Heat and the Medford Rogues, a rematch of last year's Great West League Championship Series. Should be a great one tonight because it's also a Friday here at the ballpark. A good crowd on hand already, and we haven't even thrown the first pitch. Chico advertises an interesting roster with some guys that have lit it up already in the first three games. The Heat are 2-1 on the season. The Rogues are 3-0, and we're excited to see what this one brings. The Rogues also have a couple new guys in the lineup than they did compared to the last couple games. We'll fill out those lineups in just a few minutes. But first, Jonathan Kerman has manager Josh Hogan before tonight's game. What's up, guys?
Thanks, Brian. Down the field with Coach Hogan. Coach, your team's coming off a 3-game sweep of the Yuba City Bears. How do you keep that momentum going?
We just got to keep the energy up, get those quality at bats that we had a lot in the first series, and limit the free bases. It's basically the formula I always talk about, but that formula wins, and that's what we're looking for. Just put quality at bats, sting the ball, put pressure on them. Running the bases with the skill bunts, stealing, hit and runs, stuff like that. Just keeping them on their toes and try and get some hits with runners in scoring position. And then on the defensive side, we just got to limit the walks, throw strikes, get ahead early. Jaden France, he's got a big power arm. He's got a great presence up there. He's a big boy. So I'm sure he's got some electric stuff. Hopefully he can pound the zone. He struggled a little bit in the school ball, but he's got the stuff there. So if he can throw strikes, I think it'll be very good for him and us.
Speaking of France, he came in late last night. Davis DeLorfis came in earlier today. How do you bring those guys into the fold with a game tonight?
Well, they're both starting tonight, so throw them into the fire, right? But no, they're both D1 athletes. They know. I told them that they'd probably be ready to go once they got here, and it seems like they're both really excited. They're not nervous. They're excited. Everybody's got some nerves when they first step out on a new team or the first game of the year, something like that. But if you don't have nerves, then you don't love the game. So they have the excited nerves though. So that's what we look for, and we're excited to see him go out there and perform. So,
thanks so much, Coach. Brian, back to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Coach. Interested in tonight's lineup, definitely with Jaden France as tonight's starting pitcher. We're going to step aside. We are going to come back. We'll give you tonight's starting lineups here for both the Chico Heat and the Medford Rogues. It's the first of three here at Harry and David Field, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, tomorrow. You also won't want to miss a 6:35 first pitch. It's the Rogues' 5th birthday celebration. We'll get more into that in just a few minutes, but we're going to step aside. We'll come on back here. We'll get you the starting lineups for this one. It's the Chico Heat and the Medford Rogues. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
At People's Bank, we know that banking doesn't have to be complicated. Good banking happens when we put people first. Here at People's Bank, we're for the people with big dreams. We're here for families working on creating a better life for their children. We're for businesses investing locally to create a better community we're proud to call home. This is Ken Troutman, president of People's Bank. When we put people first, families grow stronger, businesses thrive, and our community flourishes. People's Bank. We put people first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Figured we'd let you get the last bit of C.J. Reed's national anthem, just belting it out here on a Friday night. And the Medford Rogues take on the Chico Heat. Time to give you the starting lineup first for the visiting Chico Heat at a 2-1 record, leading off and hitting an impressive .636 through 3 games. Number one, Tanner Tokunaga. The number 2 hitter in the lineup is also the catcher, wearing number 2, Jake Davidson. Batting third, number 15, in right field, Cole Lamole. Batting cleanup, the shortstop, number 4, Chris Smutney. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 16, Bailey Zimmer. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 12, Jake Roddelville. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 5, Marcus Wilhite. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 10, Joe Bath. And rounding out the lineup, the second baseman, wearing number 3, Cade Cloward. Austin Lee is the starting pitcher for the Chico Heat. We'll let you know a little bit more about Austin here in a couple minutes. Valley Immediate Care is a proud sponsor of the Rogues broadcast team. Valley Immediate Care has locations in both North and South Medford, Ashland, Grants Pass, and Brookings, offering urgent care, occupational health, physicals, laser services, and more. head to valley-ic.com for more information. And now would normally be the time for the Valley Immediate Care pregame injury report, but nothing to report throughout the first couple games. Let's let you know who's in the field for the Medford Rogues at 3-0. A little change in the lineup for those of you that have been joining us for the last couple nights. In left field tonight, Clay Valenzuela-Reese. In center, as he has for the first 3 games of this season, Connor Lowry. And in right, Jake Helwig. At third base for the second time this season, Bryce Tilton. At shortstop, just rolling into town early today from University of Utah, Davis DeLorphis. At second base, Jaden Hanna. And at first, Johnny De La Cruz, a position that he used to play at last year for the Medford Rogues, especially late in the year. Dante Gutierrez is once again behind home plate, and the big fella, the big right-hander, Jaden France, on the mound for the Medford Rogues. France, a product of San Jose State, had 22 appearances this season, a 1-2 record through 24.1 innings, had 17 strikeouts, surrendering 25 runs and 32 hits. We're looking for big things out of Jaden France. And an update from our very own BG Gould. This is exciting. St. Mary's goes on to win the 3A state championship, and they were down 3-2 at the bottom of the 6th. And just to look through it, big production from Joe Johnson. A big congratulations to the St. Mary's Crusaders as they are state champs. Not a bad way to start off our broadcast here tonight. France's first pitch put into the infield over to the second baseman, Hanna. He bobbled and scooped it up and fired it over the first for the out. And 1 pitch, 1 out here for Jaden France.
Now batting for the Chico Heat, the catcher, number 2, Jake Davison.
Jake Davidson steps in. The catcher for the Chico Heat. Fred Ludwig, the manager for Chico. Josh Hogan for the Medford Rogues. Jaden France, with the windup in the pitch, pumps it up and in. 1 ball, no strikes. A lot of velocity from Jaden. The scouting report on France is that he lives low 90s, and you see it right there on that first pitch. A lot of zest on that fastball. Here's the 1-0. Right over the heart of the plate for a strike, 1-1. Davidson on the season, just a $182. 2 hits, 3 RBI. Here's the 1-1 from the right-hander. Plunked him. 2 balls and a strike. And instead of being up and in, it's just ball 4. And a hit by a pitch. So Davidson trots on down with 1 out. And that would be 2 pitches in that bat alone where Jaden France lived up and in. A little bit too much up and too much in against Davidson. Cole Lemole, the right fielder, yet to get a hit. And a runner over on first base with 1 away here in the top of the first. First pitch to Lemole is a strike. From the stretch, France fires over to first. Nothing going there. So Tokunaga grounded out to Jaden Hanna over at second. And then Davidson was hit. Here's the 0-1 from France. Slide step delivery, flings 1 in there for a strike, count 0-2. Again, Chico 2-1, Medford 3-0 on the season. Lemole in the right-handed batter's box, so righty-righty matchup here. France deals. Just a piece. Fouled away, 0-2. France listed at 6'4", 230. Finishing his junior year. Hometown Santa Clarita, California, and just finished a season at San Jose State University with the Spartans, and we knew the velocity would be there from France. Good to have him here in Southern Oregon. Count 0-2. Fires over to first. That one's going to get by De La Cruz. Skips away, and that won't even trigger a throw down to second base as Davidson gets by. Charged with an error there is France. So a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Count is 0-2. Swung and a miss, strike 3. France gets his first strikeout of the evening. The Rogues would like to thank Rogue Credit Union for their continued support of Medford Rogues baseball and the surrounding Southern Oregon community. Our friends at Rogue Credit Union are striking out hunger. So Rogue Credit Union is donating $10 to Access each time a Rogues pitcher strikes out a player from the opposing team during a home game. Rogue Credit Union, living local. It's a Rogue thing. 2 outs. Chris Smutney, the 4-hitter in the lineup, and the shortstop steps in. Also a right-hander. Swings through the first one, late on the fastball, count 0-1. So Davidson at second. Lamole strikes out. Smutney up here with 2 outs. And a runner in scoring position here in the top of the first, no score. Here's the 0-1. Again at the knees for a strike. Living with a fastball, count 0-2. Here's the 0-2 on the way. Just above the letters. 1 ball, 2 strikes. France stares at second, goes to the plate inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Really goes at hitters with that fastball. The demeanor is there from the right-hander for the Rogues here early on. Living inside, and actually didn't pay off for him on the at-bat with Jake Davidson. Count is 2-2. Stares down at Davidson at second. Long hold. Delivers. Fastball. Looked really good. So good I would have rung him up myself. Instead, the count is full. Not sure what missed there. This could be an interesting night. If that one's not called a strike by Eric Martinez. Mike Carr in the field tonight. Carr was behind home plate last night. Three balls, 2 strikes. France steps off. And we'll do it again. Again, for those of you listening in, thanks for joining us on the live audio stream here on MedfordRogues.com. Fending off that pitch is Smutney fouling it away into the parking lot. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. France comes back to his set. Looks at second, goes to the plate. That one put in play to DeLorfis over at short. Fires to first, routine ground out, and the Chico Heat strand 1. No score in the top of the first. We'll go to the bottom half of the first inning after this. Listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
Fans, it's easier than ever to get your tickets to check out the Medford Rogues this summer. Visit medfordrogues.com and click the Tickets tab to pick your seats for the next night out at Harry and David Field.
Back here live with you at Harry and David Field in Medford, Oregon. Scoreless through the top half of the first. Here in the bottom of the first inning, let's get you the Rogues lineup. Connor Lowry will lead things off in center. Batting in the 2 spot, the second baseman Jaden Hanna. Batting third at first base, Johnny De La Cruz. Batting cleanup, the right fielder Jake Hellwig. Batting fifth, the left fielder Clay Valenzuela-Reese. Batting sixth, the catcher Dante Gutierrez. Batting seventh, the shortstop Davis DeLorfis. Batting eighth, the designated hitter Taylor Frost. And rounding at the lineup, the third baseman Bryce Tilton. The Rogues are facing right-hander Austin Lee. Lee had 9 starts in 2016 for the Chico Heat, went 2-4 with a 3.98 ERA. As Lowry swings on the second pitch over to the shortstop and an off-balance throw to first, but in time for out number 1. So as Jaden Hanna steps in, Jake Rodeville in left, Tanner Tokunaga in center, and Cole Lemole in right. Joe Bath at third, Chris Smutney at short, Cade Cloward at second, and Bailey Zimmer at first. Jake Davidson behind home plate, Austin Lee on the mound, and Marcus Wilhite, the designated hitter for the Chico Heat. Hanna steps in the left-handed batter's box facing the righty. First pitch is a strike, count 0-1. Again, our live stats are up and running. Just check the description in the YouTube stream, and feel free to fire in any sort of live comments you might have. Chuck is saying, am I missing something? Well, it's not a video feed, but it is on YouTube. It's just an audio stream for you. So we keep that nice graphic up there for you because it looks good. So we'll try to paint the picture the best we can. The count is 1-1 with 1 out to Jaden Hanna with no one on. Here in the bottom of the first inning, we're scoreless. Lee deals full windup. Upstairs, 2-1. Beautiful night here at Harry and David Field. We have been more than fortunate. First 3 games against the Yuba City Bears, all great evenings. And again here tonight. Some fans still funneling in. It is a Fill the Park Friday here at the ballpark. Be joined by Great West League President Ken Wilson at the end of the first inning, so stick around for that. Here live on MedfordRogues.com. Here's the 3-1 from Lee. Just outside for ball 4 to Jaden Hanna and a 1-out walk. So this brings up Johnny De La Cruz. For those of you maybe looking online, De La Cruz listed as an outfielder. Well, that's where he spent most of his time in the regular season of the college season for the University of Louisiana at Monroe, and actually was injured towards the end of the year when he collided into a left field fence when they were playing at Ole Miss. Got banged up pretty good, actually had to go to the hospital, but indeed came home to the team hotel later that night and was able to carry on without his, normal business on the road, that sort of thing. So not too major, but just major enough that ended his season just a little bit early. First pitch to De La Cruz is up and in, 1 ball, no strike. So a righty-righty matchup here, runner on first. Lee comes to a set and fires to first. Hanna easily getting back in time. So both the 2 hitters in the lineup got on first. France led him on with a hit by pitch, and then Jaden Hanna earned a 5-pitch walk. Here's the 1-0 from Lee, just off the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. Everything Lee has thrown here has been relatively close to that strike zone. Nothing errant, but just not getting the corners, at least at this point. 2 balls, no strikes. Lee, 5'9", 195, Spokane, Washington, and plays at Spokane Falls Community College, where his head coach is Bobby Lee. He's a sophomore, going to his junior class. De La Cruz, a chopper to third. Hustling down the line, looked like it was in time, but they punched him out. Not so sure, sir. Runner still advances. Well, that was a close one over to first. This brings up Jake Hellwig. De La Cruz strolls back to the bench with 2 outs. Hanna at second. Close play over at first base. Dory's checking in tonight from Redmond. Tuning in to hear, of course, the last name Frost be called on the broadcast. Taylor, the 8 spot tonight for the Medford Rogues, as the designated hitter. 2 outs, bottom 1. Runner at second base. First pitch strike to Jake Helwig. Bats from the left side. Good strong throw across the diamond on that last play by Joe Bath. Took the hop right up at the belt and fired to Bailey Zimmer for the out. Count 0-1. 2 outs. Hannah at second. Helwig fouls that pitch away. Count 0-2. Couple scores from the NCAA regionals. On Thursday was Cal State Fullerton over BYU 13-2. Stanford 10-zip over Sac State. And more recently here, earlier today, Auburn over UCF 7-4. Vanderbilt over St. John's 13-4. Kentucky over Ohio 6-4. South Florida over Bethune-Cookman 9-1. That pitch to Helwig up and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. These scores coming from our very own BG Gould, who up here in the score in the press box, our official scorekeeper for the Medford Rogues. Florida Gulf Coast 10-6 winners over Michigan. West Virginia 9-1 over Maryland. Oklahoma over Xavier, and South Mississippi over UIC 8-7. Helwig hits it high down the left field line. It's going to drop and goes out of play. It's going to be a ground rule double and an RBI double for the Medford Rogues, and they strike first here in the bottom of the first inning. Jake Helwig had some English on it. Bounced on the dirt just inside fair territory. The fence moves inward toward the field about 45, 50 feet to the foul pole, down the left field line in the chalk, and it's scooted out of play. So Helwig at second, and a run comes to score. That's Jaden Hanna. This brings up Clay Valenzuela-Reese. Another righty-righty matchup. Valenzuela-Reese making his debut for the Medford Rogues on night number 2. First couple nights at second base, now at left field. First pitch to Valenzuela-Reese over the heart of the plate for a strike. Count 0-1. Count 0-1. The right-hander deals. Just fended off, fouled away into the screen. Count 0-2. Tomorrow night, a big 5th birthday here at Harry and David Field. Love it if you came on down to the ballpark or at least joined us live here on MedfordRogues.com at 6:25. Fireworks, cupcakes, entertainment, unicorns, I said it, and more. Count 0-2. Helwig gets second, a 1-0 lead for the Medford Rogues here in the bottom of the first. 1 hit for the Rogues, coming from Jake Helwig, who's at second base. 1 error by Jaden France in the top half. So the Rogues have 1s all across the board. Count is 0-2 to Clay Valenzuela-Reese. Austin Lee steps off. So runner in scoring position with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. The Oregon City, Oregon native at the plate. Product of Campbellsville University. Led the team in at-bats and a batting average of over 300, but he strikes out to end the first. 1 run and a hit. 1 left on base for the Rogues. No errors in the field for the Chico Heat. But it is a 1-0 lead for Medford. We'll go to the top of the second in just a moment. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Rogues would like to thank our friends at Avista, serving Medford since 1906. Avista has created opportunities, sparked imaginations, and fueled innovation today as they celebrate more than a century of service. The folks at Avista are committed as ever to helping the communities they serve to grow and prosper. Head to avistautilities.com. Bailey Zimmer leads off the top of the second, swinging at the first pitch over to short. Davis DeLorphis makes a nice play over to first base for a quick one pitch, one out. And this brings up Jack Rodeville, the left fielder for Chico. DeLorphis has thrown out the last two, hit to him. Ended the first, started the second. One away. France, first pitch, heater right over the heart of the plate for a strike. Count 0-1. Rodeville thought about the bunt. 167 hitter. 2 hits in 3 games. 2 RBI with 12 at-bats. Count is 0-2. France, windup and delivery. Late on the fastball, down to the right side. The first baseman, De La Cruz, on a high hop, takes it himself for out number 2. And Rodeville was mighty late on that fastball. The velocity is there, and you can see that Chico not really adapting quite yet to the fastball from Jaden France. I believe we see Ken Wilson making his way up here. He should be up here shortly. So if you got any questions for the Prez of the Great West League, fire them away on the live stream. See if we can get some of those answered. First pitch to Marcus Wilhite, fouled out of play. Count is 0-1. Marcus is the designated hitter tonight. 167 average, 12 at-bats. Swings through the next one from France. Count quickly, 0-2. So no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the second inning. Rogues on top, 1-0. Again, the live stats for this one available on the description link on your YouTube page. Pretty easy to get to. We try to make it as easy as possible. The only thing we could do to make it even easier, video, right? I knew you were going to say it, but you're wrong. We love bringing it to you this way. Live audio stream doesn't get much better. Hit it down the right side over to Jaden Hanna, scooting towards the line. Makes the grab and fires to first for the out. Quick 3 up, 3 down. The Rogues lead 1-0 as we're through 1.5. I think we can do this now. Ken Wilson is here. Everybody, the president of the Great West League. Ken, the mic is on. We're ready to go. It's good to see you. I know a different capacity for me. Used to run the TV camera instead, but now we're up here. How you doing?
Good to see you, Brian. How's everything?
Wonderful. I've got a great view, a nice ballpark, good crowd tonight.
Air conditioning?
Yeah, something like that, right?
Not bad.
This time of year. I wanted to ask you your thoughts, of course, on a little bit of a restructuring in the offseason. You bring in some new teams, a couple teams inactive from last year, Lodi and Sacramento. Are you excited about the 2 new teams here in the Great West League?
Yeah, I'm always excited, and I think it'll be interesting to see in the Marysville-Yuba City market where the Marysville Gold Sox have been in that ballpark for a long time, and now we've put a second team representing Yuba City there. That'll be interesting to see how they draw. So they'll play 60 games. I was there the other night, and we were kidding everyone. You don't have to ask if there's a game tonight because the answer is yes.
There's always a game. I knew what you were going to say. Yeah. I had to.
There's a game every night. And so we're excited about that. I was in Lincoln last night for their first game, and we took a little old ballpark. A fellow called me 2 years ago and said, "Do you know where Lincoln is?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, would you ever put a team here?" I said, "Maybe." He said, "Why don't you come by and look?" And I said, I can see greatness here. And a lot of work got put into it, and it was a long, fairly difficult task. But last night was the culmination. They made the ballpark look great. They had a big crowd, sellout in Lincoln. And so that's a great addition to our league here in 2017.
Well, let's get into a little bit of McBean here in the specs in just a sec. We're going to get you to stick around for the bottom of the second. Sound good?
I'm good for about 8 innings.
All right. Well, hey, I'll give you the headset. Let's do it. I got to work on my tan here tonight. I don't know if I'm ever going to get one being upstairs. Be careful what you wish for on the road, I guess. Dante Gutierrez, the catcher for the Medford Rogues, steps in first pitch from Austin Lee, up and away, 1 ball, no strikes. And Jaden France out there, newcomer for the Medford Rogues, just mowing the heat down so far. I think it is the heat. It's that fastball. Catch him off balance.
Yeah, big kid. He's pretty impressive in the early going.
2 balls, no strikes to Dante Gutierrez in McBean Stadium. I believe I heard the word turf. Where is the turf?
They've got great-looking field turf on the infield.
So then they've also got a dirt mound. Is that correct?
Yes, they do, and
cool.
They put a whole new outfield in with
Wow.
irrigation and grass. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a really nice-looking ballpark.
3 balls, no strikes to Dante Gutierrez. Austin Lee deals. Gets that one over for a strike. Count 3-1. 1-0 Rogues. Bottom 2 with president of the Great West League, Ken Wilson. I'm Brian Schnee. We're talking McBean Stadium over in Lincoln. And actually, we will be there. The Rogues will be there next weekend, so we're excited for that one. Putting the play over to second. Played on the hop, fired to first for the out. Cade Cloward makes the play. 1 away here in the bottom of the second. So what else is going on with McBean?
Well, let me tell you, somebody might ask, well, where's Lincoln, California? I know I had to ask that question.
I had to Google it.
And it's about, I'd say, 45 minutes northeast of downtown Sacramento. It was a little town that's existed for years, and now the suburbs of Sacramento have moved almost right to Lincoln. And there are a lot of people, a lot of developments, great-looking houses, a lot of families all around Lincoln, so it's a great market.
Davis DeLorfis swinging on the first pitch, drives it right to the second baseman, Cloward, who makes the catch on a line for 1 pitch, 1 out. There's 2 away here in the bottom of the second.
This is a great game here. I've seen 5 straight outs since I walked up behind you here. I should be broadcasting game moving along.
Well,
that
you got the
quickly.
pipes for it, I think. Not everyone does, but you've definitely got them.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Maybe 1 or 2 pitches here, and you'll have the third out.
This could be wonderful.
It's an easy job.
Now we just got to write the press release and put the photos online. There's a couple more to it. We can show you that one if you'd like.
That's right. A little more work at this level.
Taylor Frost sees the first pitch from Lee for a strike. Frost, the designated hitter tonight. On the 0-1. Hits it high and deep to left field, but camping out underneath is the left fielder in some shade, Rodeville, to make the catch in the third out of the inning. 3 up, 3 down. We can't let you go anywhere, Ken.
I told you I'd stay for 8 innings. If it's going to be 1, 2, 3 every half inning, it'll only be about 40 minutes anyway.
Well, we can keep you here, but let's take a quick break. We'll come on back. How about that? Rogues lead 2-0. After 2, we'll go to the top of the third, and you get more Ken Wilson after this. Stick around. Welcome back. Top of the third, 1-0 lead for the Medford Rogues. And Jaden France back out there for the top half of the third inning. Hasn't surrendered much. And we were just talking about, we're going to take a quick picture. We can do this. Pretty awesome. Brian Schnee with the president of the Great West League, Ken Wilson here in the press box tonight. First pitch to Joe Bath, a little bit upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Great velocity from Jaden France, and a product of San Jose State. Just finished up a season there, but 22 appearances, 24 innings, so you can see obviously the work in the bullpen.
Yeah, he got my attention at the get-go here. He's a big kid, 6'4", 230, and he's been played a little bit, so he's a veteran for this league. So he should be, I would think, from what I've seen, a real asset for the Rogues.
Just got off the plane last night, and one of the airlines lost his bats. So we're still hunting for those. I don't know where those are now. A chopper, and France gets athletic, bounces off the mound on the third base side, and rifles to first for the out. How about the big fellow with a little movement? Must do yoga.
That was a nice play. That's a tough play there. Very nice play.
Talk about earning it. Not only does he flex the velocity and the mixer, but also the PFPs. Coaches used to just bury you with those. And this brings up the 9-hitter Cade Cloward, the second baseman for the 2-1 Chico Heat here in the early part of the 2017 Great West League season. And these two teams, they know each other quite well. They played a lot last year, including that last series, Ken.
Yeah, yes, they do. So you got Medford that won the regular season, Chico that won the championship series.
Jammed him at the hands. France again being tested. This time Bobbles fires to first, but that's not in time. Tough play for France.
Yeah, he was almost to the first baseline. It was a difficult play. Probably should have made it. Had he made it cleanly, I think he would have gotten the out. But he's a stud out there. He's a good-looking player. I think that the fans shouldn't underestimate the talent level in this league. There are a lot of good players, and I thought last year, in year one for the Great West League, we had a lot of really good players, and I think that the level of this year will be as good or even better. But there are a lot of kids that played in the league last year, and then this spring went back to their schools and had big seasons.
France back to the leadoff hitter. Runner is moving down to second. A throw a little bit up and away and underneath. A tough reaction from most of those infielders, and Jaden France as well. The throw was pretty good, but the tag looked even better. Cloward gets in there and steals second base. And this draws a discussion from Josh Hogan. So you know what? Now we get to talk more about the talent here. Spencer Steer, specifically for the Rogues, they got to see him. I mean, the All-Star game last year was here. So
played third base every day at Oregon.
Man, they got to see the best of the best here last summer.
There was a kid, left-handed hitter, Gabe Matthews, who played for Portland last season here in the Great West League. This year went as a freshman to Oregon, was the DH, had a big year. Just to name a few, there's another player I want to talk about, too, who I think will be a big leaguer pretty soon.
Well, that one after the next pitch, the count 0-1 to the leadoff batter, Tokunaga, the center fielder.
Young man by the name of Sahid Valenzuela.
How did I know you were going there?
Out of Watsonville, California, after growing up in Yuma, Arizona. Played shortstop much of the season last year for the Portland Pickles, and a good-looking young player.
1-1 to Tokunaga, swings through the fastball on the outside part of the plate for 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Valenzuela, a freshman this spring at Cal State Fullerton. They do not play freshmen. He hit .344 after the first 8 games, played absolutely every game for the Cal State Fullerton Titans, the second leading hitter on the team as a freshman.
Coming from the Great West League here in their first season. He was the All-Star Game MVP, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he was, right here in this ballpark. And I've made the prediction after I watched him for 3 weeks. I've told many people, I said he will be an everyday second baseman in the big leagues. He's a good-looking player and a good kid and a smart player.
The 2-2 count to Tokunaga. France deals. Fastball, dribbling down the third base line in foul territory. They will redo the 2-2.
You know, this league is all about, for me, it's all about affordable family fun and coming out and having a great time. But for those folks who do pay pretty good attention to baseball, you know, it's kind of interesting to say, well, you know, how good is he? And is this a future pro player? Is there maybe a big league player down the road that's in this game?
Another chopper to the third base side. Tilton scoops, fans, throws to first, and that actually pulls Johnny De La Cruz off the bag. I think he actually threw himself out of the rhythm by checking the runner over at second. So now with one out, there's runners on first and second for Jake Davidson.
Yeah, so many little things in the game of baseball. And again, for the casual fan, they don't typically see these little things. For the ardent fan who's been around a while, you see that play, and that's a mental play. Third baseman charges the ball onto the grass, runner at second. He doesn't have time in that situation to check the runner. He had to get it and throw it. So his anticipation and his mental process wasn't what it needed to be.
France now has Davidson in the right-handed batter's box. One away, runners on first and second. Brian Schnee with the president of the Great West League. Ken Wilson here in the top of the third, a 1-0 lead for the Medford Rogues. And somebody who's seen plenty of baseball here, and you're breaking down the game like you should be having my job. Or at least, you know what? Your job, because you're the color guy. Look at this. It works out good.
That's right.
We don't get very many of these. When you coming down here next? We'll set you up for a designated fourth inning, a third inning.
What France is really effective with tonight is he's jamming a lot of hitters. That's where you're getting these slow rollers and these choppers. He's coming inside. And, if you're going to be successful as a pitcher, you've got to be able to work inside and outside.
Last time he faced Davidson, he did go inside. He plunked him, but Davidson was stranded at second in the first inning. Davidson gets a small piece there. The count is 1-1 with one out, runners on first and second base. The two-hitter in the Chico Heat lineup is Jake Davidson, up there with the count at 1-1. So you mentioned that the confidence is clearly there.
Yeah.
So France loves to live in, and at that point he actually made a mistake early, but didn't get beat for it.
You got to do it. You got to do that. Throw inside.
Here's the 1-1, hit sharply, and a diving play made by Jaden Hanna. Lost it in the transfer. Almost would have had him on the double play over at first. It looks like De La Cruz was there, and Hanna tapped the chest saying, my bad. Well, hey, you still picked up the out. Great play.
Yeah, made a very nice play diving to his left. Very impressive. I love this ballpark. I came here in 2008 when there were 200 seats behind home plate, and everybody talked about needing $2 million to finish the ballpark, and Gary Miller and I got to know each other, and what a job he's done with baseball in this town. And I tried to tell him early, no, you don't need $2 million, and we finally got it all together, and with donations and everything, we're able to complete the ballpark, and it's fabulous.
First pitch to Lamole. He swings through the fastball. Count 0-1. 2 runners on, 2 outs, top 3. And I couldn't agree with you more, especially when this place is packed.
Yeah.
It's rocking.
Nice-looking ballpark, and a lot of amenities, a lot of fun. Nice background, great, the hill, low mountain, right center field, the buildings.
Yeah, it's a special place. Temperature always seems to be right, or at least close to it. Sometimes a scorcher, but sometimes it's just right, like tonight.
I love, personally, warm weather, and I live in Portland. So when I see the sun and I see hot weather, I don't complain.
I think
you
got to be relocating. Have you thought about that one? Speaking of Portland, I did want to ask you a little bit about the Pickles here. The count 1-1. France gets Lamole to swing to right center field, an easy one. Not much effort for Connor Lowry. Makes the catch. They strand 2. Still a 1-0 lead for the Medford Rogues. I won't keep you, but all is well in Picklesville, I'm hoping?
Yeah, the first season, and for season number 1, I did own the Portland Pickles. No longer, but, people said for years you can't put a team in Portland on the east side. There's no facility. The facility is terrible, and on and on and on. And that was the challenge I needed. And we got donations, raised a little cash, made something out of nothing, if you will, at Walker Stadium in the east side of Portland. And the fan response last season was absolutely fabulous. I mean, we had sellout after sellout after sellout. It's a cozy little ballpark, about 1,550 seats, including a grass berm. So there's not a lot of seats. And we had nights where we had 2,300, 2,400, one night 2,700. So we got them in there with a shoehorn, and everybody had fun. So the Portland Pickles quickly became one of the premier teams in this league, and that's, I think, been a big help to the league.
So it's like a nice small music venue, intimate.
It
all sounds good. It looks good. The product is good. You can't get much better.
It's intimate. I know a lot of people here probably know the ballpark in Bend, and the first time I went there, and it's a great atmosphere. The first time I went to Bend, I said, Location, a C. Parking, a C. Entrance, a C. Grandstand, a D. Concession, a D+. And I went down the list like that. And then I said overall grade, B+.
Nice. How do you factor that one?
Because, it just it's old, it has a great atmosphere, and sometimes little old ballparks or cozy little parks have an interesting atmosphere that, is very tough to
Now, did you feel
create.
that way about Kiger Stadium, though, over in Klamath?
I love Kiger
Okay,
Stadium.
me too. I was over there for the Babe Ruth World Series. I loved it.
I love that. I went there in 2008 for the first time, and I knew the history of baseball in Klamath Falls, and I said they've got to have a team.
Bryce Tilton in there against Austin Lee on the 0-1. He gets hit. Came inside with the bender, and that one just slipped.
We got the Gems in the West Coast League with the Medford Rogues, and as it turned out, the West Coast League moved the team out of Klamath Falls, but they still play, the Gems do, in in a lower league, and they've contacted us, and they want, in the worst way, to get their Klamath Falls Gems into the Great West League. And I don't know if we're going to –
I was going to say, are you about to break some news on our broadcast? I was excited for that one.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do it or not.
Underneath the slide and the tag over at second base, Tilton made it look easy there, testing the arm of Davidson, but he threw it a little high under that tag, and he's still second on the first pitch. Connor Lowry up the plate.
Yeah, Kiger Stadium is excuse the expression, a gem, a great place to watch baseball. And, you got new ballparks, you got old ballparks, and it's the great game of baseball. It's very, very tough to beat.
Count 0-1 to Lowry. Thought about the bunt. Pulls it back. Pitch was outside, 1-1. So now Tilton over at second base. And you taking off on me?
I'm going to get out. I'm going to get out of your hair before I start doing play-by-play and
you should give
you too much analysis.
Hey, that's a good thing. Thanks again.
Yeah, Brian, good to see you. Good luck to you. Appreciate
We'll do that. We'll trade the mic and a quick handshake. That was president of the Great West League, Ken Wilson. Good to have Ken for more than an inning up here. We could do that as much as he wants. We'll see him back here next time he stops by in town here. Count 1-2 to Connor Lowry at the plate with a runner on second. That's Bryce Tilton. He was hit, and then he stole. Dancing a little bit over at second, and he draws Austin Lee off the mound. Lots of great nuggets there. Some good history, and hey, you know what? Almost alluding to an expansion. We will see what the Great West League has in store. Maybe next time Ken is down here in Southern Oregon, we'll get the confirmation. Let's see. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lee goes to the plate. Good bender inside part of the plate, and he got Connor Lowry looking.
Now batting for the Medford Rogues.
This brings up Jaden Hanna. That's the first strikeout of the evening for Austin Lee. Thanks to Fred Meyer, the Rogues will offer specially priced family ticket packages for each Sunday home game. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 fountain drinks, and 4 souvenir baseballs for just $44. These ticket packages are only offered at each of the 3 Fred Meyer stores locally in the Rogue Valley. Don't miss out on the fun. It's Fred Meyer Family Fun Sundays here at Harry and David Field. 1 out. Jaden Hanna stepping into the left-handed batter's box. 1 out for Austin Lee. Ground out here would be mighty fine. Lee's first pitch up and away, 1-0. Thanks to all of you for tuning in tonight. Keep the conversation going on our live chat. Appreciate Rick listening from San Francisco. And Chuck, I totally agree. Kiger is awesome. Maybe we'll see the Rogues back there one day. Hanna fouls it away, 1-1. All right, so just to recap here in the bottom of the third, Rogues lead 1-0. They have the only hit of the ballgame, but also have committed 3 errors, 2 of which coming from Jaden France. 1 from Bryce Tilton, the third baseman. But those errors have yet to come back and bite. The Rogues here in the series opener with the Chico Heat. The Heat 2-1. The Rogues 3-0. Austin Lee with the 1-1. Delivers up and away. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Tomorrow night, the 5th birthday celebration for the Medford Rogues, welcoming the Chico Heat for yet another 6:35 first pitch. We got some surprises for you here at the ballpark, but also fireworks. First 500 fans enjoy cupcakes, courtesy of our friends at Fred Meyer. You don't want to miss any night here at the ballpark, if possible. Hannah lifts one to right. The catch is made. Tilton's going to tag and test the arm, and he makes it to third easily. But Hannah moved him over, so he's 90 feet away with 2 outs for Johnny De La Cruz, who has been steamy here to start the season. De La Cruz hitting .583 and 12 at-bats with 7 hits in the first 3 games. A double and 3 RBI, has also been walked twice, has also stolen a base, and has scored 5 runs for the Rogues in the opening series against the Yuba City Bears. 2 outs, Tilton over at third. De La Cruz looks at the first pitch in the dirt, 1 ball, no strikes. Morton's offers something for everyone. Morton's is a full sports bar and a separate family dining side of the restaurant in East Medford. And you know what? They've even got delivery. Check out the website, mortons.com. That's Morton's with 2 R's. De La Cruz rips one on a line to left field, but hit hard, but right at Jake Rodeville for the 3rd out. So the Rogues will strand 1 and didn't get any hits, no runs, and then no errors for Chico in the field. We are through 3 innings, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Medford Rogues. Top of the 4th coming up next. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Great to have you back here with us at Harry and David Field in Medford. Chris Smutney, the designated, the shortstop in the 4 spot, leads things off here in the top of the 4th against Jaden France. Apologies for that quick blunder. France, first pitch to Smutney, off the plate, 1 ball, no strikes. The conversation on our live chat right now suggesting we would love to see shade seats at Medford Stadium, and that would be this one that we're at, as Smutney rips one to left field for a leadoff single. And you know what? I agree with that comment wholeheartedly. Make this ballpark even more enjoyable. Give it that big stadium feel in a small-town baseball community that just is rich with the game. Maybe one day, my friends, maybe we will see that here at Harry and David Field. Bailey Zimmer steps in, led off the 2nd inning with a ground out to DeLorphis over at short. Again, thanks again to President of the Great West League, Ken Wilson, for joining me on the broadcast. We'll have another special guest coming up in just a few minutes here for the next inning with us here live on MedfordRogues.com. 1-0 lead for the Rogues. France goes inside at Zimmer. Forced him to pull back the bunt. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, for those wanting to get the live stats from tonight's game, just head on down to that description in the YouTube window and click the shortened link there for you. You can see everything that's going here. Just 1 hit apiece. That was actually the first hit for the Chico Heat, was the last batter, Smutney. France goes up and in. And they were asking if Zimmer went around with the bunt. And Mike Carr in the field says no. France went up and in and hit him yet again. Josh Hogan wants an explanation saying that He thought the bunt was all the way down, and you know what? At a quick glance, I believe I thought that as well. But for some reason, they do not agree. Quick explanation has Josh Hogan backpedaling back to the Medford bench. Runners on first and second. And it looks like Jaden France going to fix the stirrups with Jaden Hanna. And no, they don't spell their names the same way. Jaden Hanna has a Y, Jaden France an I. Little piece there for you. Little nugget for you to take home. 1-0 lead for the Rogues here in the top of the fourth. 2 runners on now, no outs. And a brief timeout for France to tie the shoelaces. So now Zimmer at first, Smutney at second. This brings up Jack Rodeville, the left fielder. Grounded out to first in the second inning. So the Rogues did strike first and only in the bottom of the first inning. Jaden Hanna walked, and it came around to score after Jake Hellwig had an RBI double. Since then, all quiet. You know what? Ken Wilson may very well have been that guy to keep the pacing of this ball game. We got to get him back up here. So we're back at it. France back on the mound. Stares at second. Fires, goes to the plate. Bunt laid down. France thinks he has him at third, and he punches him out. A great play. A bang-bang play at third base. And how about that throw from Jaden France? All the confidence in the world. Third time that the big fella's been tested coming off the mound. And that's where Chico thinks that they can beat him, laying down the bunt. But he's showing that agility, that quickness, and a strong arm, of course, to get the out. So Rodeville reaches on a fielder's choice. Zimmer over at second. And Smutney throws out, or gets thrown out by France over at third. So one away, back at the stretch. As Will Height steps in, swinging at the first pitch from the left-hand side and fouls it away. Count 0-1. Again, the Chico Heat, the 2016 Great West League champs. It was the Medford Rogues to win the regular season with 40 wins, but the wins that mattered were those in the best-of-3 series where Chico celebrated right here at Harry and David Field to win the Great West League championship. France shows off the bender. In there for a strike, count 0-2. Buckled the knees of Will Height, 5'10", 190, Oroville, California native. A sophomore who heads to Butte College. Hit .366 last year. Led the Golden Valley Conference for Butte College. A .374 average and 7 home runs. Hits it on the ground to the right side. Jaden Hanna is there to throw him out at first base, but 2 runners advance to second and third. And this brings up Joe Bath, the 8-hitter in the lineup. And Jaden France could use the out right now. Second time Will Height has grounded out to second base. So Bath steps in, having been thrown out by Jaden France last inning. Beautiful night here at Harry and David Field. Brian Schnee with you. You can always get us on Twitter and Instagram at Medford Rogues, also on Facebook at Medford Rogues Baseball. Swinging at the first pitch, a high chopper deep, and a tough throw for Tilton, and he throws it away. 1 run scores, another one comes around to score, and a tough throw by the third baseman. The Chico Heat take the lead.
Now batting for the Chico Heat, second baseman number 3, Cade Cloward.
So Rodeville and Zimmer come around to score on the error by the third baseman Tilton. And Chico on top here in the fourth, 2-1. Cade Cloward, the second baseman, also reached on an error in the third, steps in. Again, once again, a congratulations to St. Mary's School here in Medford. Trailing 3-2 in the bottom of the sixth. They came back to win the 3A Baseball State Championship here in the state of Oregon. Hats off to the Crusaders. A lot of seniors on that team, off and moving. We wish them all the best. France goes to the plate. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes to Cloward. Cloward just 111 hitter through 3 games for Chico as France checks back over at first. The Rogues 3-0, Chico 2-1. Again, these two teams will meet one more time tomorrow and then once again on Sunday, 6:35 first pitch each evening. Fastball fouled away 1-1. Fireworks on Saturday. Also fireworks on Saturday, June 17th. We just announced this week, Star Wars Night is back to Harry and David Field. Dress up in your best costume. Of course, you'll win things that way, but you'll also just be a winner by being here to see those fireworks and experience the jerseys that the Rogues will be wearing. Auctioned off to benefit Hearts with a Mission at the end of the night. It's a special jersey theme night here at the ballpark, and that's on June 17th. Star Wars Night here at Harry and David Field. The other jersey theme nights here this summer at home. Military Night July 8th, July 20th, Salute to Bacon Night, and then Paint the Park Pink the 22nd, and the 25th is Christmas in July. Swinging through the off-speed is Cloward making the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. France comes set. Catches the sign from Gutierrez, goes to the plate. Swung and a miss, strike 3, and France strikes him out. The Rogues, of course, want to thank Rogue Credit Union for their continued support of Medford Rogues baseball and the surrounding Southern Oregon community. Our friends at Rogue Credit Union are striking out hunger. RCU is donating $10 to Access each time a Rogues pitcher, like Jaden France, strikes out a player from the opposing team during a home game. Rogue Credit Union, living local, it's a Rogue thing. 2-1 as the Chico Heat score 2 in the top of the 4th. We are midway through the 4th, and we'll step aside and come back with the bottom half of the inning. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Welcome back to Harry and David Field. The Rogues up in the bottom of the 4th. Austin Lee's first pitch to Jake Hellwig is a strike, and we are back underway. 2-1 lead for the Chico Heat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Game 1 of a 3-game series between these two teams. The same two teams that were in the Great West League Championship last year. And, of course, Chico coming away with the win in that one as Lee deals a ball outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Another guest here in the broadcast booth. We are fortunate tonight. We first had president of the Great West League, Ken Wilson. Now we've got Bruce Reese here with us. And Bruce, not only are you a father of a Rogue, but you've got quite the background yourself, coaching, playing, you name it, all over the state. Man, where are you today? You're everywhere. I know you're here kind of local for once, which is nice.
Yeah, we have a place out in Selma, right next to Lake Selmac. And I'm actually the athletic director, head football coach, and head boys and girls golf coach at Illinois Valley High School.
Hellwig rips one into left field with a 1 ball, 2 strike count. And he's got a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 4th. Now, I know you were also at Hidden Valley for many years as well.
Well, correct? I was at Hidden Valley for 3 years and then North Valley for 7.
North Valley, that's right. North Valley. So North Valley, you won the Triple Crown, right?
Yes, we did. That was amazing.
That's amazing.
I was the only coach that was on all 3 staffs.
Well, congratulations to that. I know your baseball career goes deep as well. I know we could probably talk for hours about it, but the big one that sticks out, Madras High School, Jacoby Ellsbury, what was that experience like? I know that was just a few years ago now.
Right. No, it was phenomenal. The first day we go out and we start hitting fly balls to kids, and he's tracking the ball like I've never seen a kid track a ball. And when people ask me, they said, well, did you see anything right away? I said, absolutely. Young man can run, and he can track the ball down, and he really hits the ball well too.
Now, the best part about where we are right now, your son is up to bat. Clay Valenzuela-Risu joined us the second day of Rogues Ball, the second game, and has been at second base for the first 2 games of his Rogues season, and then in left field tonight. What's it been like watching Clay from afar? Actually, lays down the bunt, might even beat one out, gets tossed over at first, but did advance the runner to second base. But Clay is now in the left field, obviously led Campbellsville, had a great season, a couple more Rogues from Campbellsville coming as well. What was it like watching him from afar this year?
Well, I actually got to go back and watch a couple games back there with him, and it was a ton of fun. But, yes, we watched streamed games as much as we could. Any kind of stats that were put out, we watched it, and it was really hard to do that. We had him at Tacoma and got to watch him play up there for 2 years. And it was difficult as a parent to watch that happen.
So your experience, Hidden Valley, North Valley, Illinois Valley, Madras, Oregon City, did I miss anything?
No, that's it for the professional career.
Where'd you go to high school?
Grants Pass.
All right, that's right. So you're a local guy. We've got a Grants Pass guy on the ball club this year. Brennan Laufenbergel will be with us shortly. The Cavemen. Of course, a program that is just a ton of fun to watch almost everywhere. I mean, of course, football, basketball on the rebuilding side with a brand-new coach, and baseball kind of right there with it in the Southwest Conference. Had an interesting year. I'm assuming you played multiple sports in high school, correct?
Yeah, I played, my senior year I played football and baseball, and then before that, football, basketball, and baseball. My senior year, I was the quarterback, and we went to the semis in football. Had Scott Stalk as our running back. He went on to play professional football. And then
Gutierrez rips one through the right side, a play at the plate, and it ended up being less than it needed to be because Hellwig beat out the throw regardless. The throw was a tad bit off the mark and late, and the Rogues tie it up at 2 thanks to Dante Gutierrez.
And then my junior year, we played in the state championship in baseball, and that was quite a highlight. And then my senior year, we were 1 game away. We were in Medford, and we had to win 9 out of 10, and we won 8 out of 10.
Wow.
So it was quite an interesting career I had in high school.
Now, you've been in this state around athletics for quite some time at many levels, which is exciting to see. How do you feel like the high school landscape has changed just over time? I mean, from when you were in high school as an athlete at Grants Pass, now being back closer to Grants Pass in the Illinois Valley area, what's changed?
Well, a lot of things have changed. The more teams can get into the state playoffs. When we were playing at the 3A level, we had you had a quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. So 8 teams got into the state playoffs. That was it.
And now everyone gets in. I mean, 32, it's a big dance.
Right. It's a big dance at the 6A level, and being a part of that as an AD at Oregon City, watching it go from 4A to 6A, and we tried to build that so everybody had an even chance.
DeLorphis rips one to left field on a line, does not drop. Nice catch by Rodeville for the second out of the inning. Gutierrez still at first. It's a 2-2 ball game here in the bottom of the 4th, and that brings up Taylor Frost. Bruce Reese is my guest here on the broadcast. And, Bruce, you saw the GIF we put up of the bat leaving the hand. I know you saw it on Twitter. It was Clay's first swing as a Rogue,
right.
And the reaction was priceless.
Yes.
And I know you couldn't be here, but that was his first at-bat, so proud father.
I was over conducting a sports awards night, and then I got to see that later. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. He tries to lay down a bunt, misses that, and then swings, and the bat comes out of his hand. And I was like, boy, oh boy, you better get some insurance, boy.
I know those things aren't cheap. We're going to bill him for that at the end of the year. I hope he knows that.
That would be good.
Count 0-1 here to Taylor Frost. Gutierrez over at first base. Lee goes from the stretch in the dirt, kept in front by Davidson. The count is 1-1. So what's going on at IV? I know it's an interesting program, depending on how you look at football-wise, I mean, sports-wise up there is unique compared to a lot of different places. You go through some challenges you don't go through in a lot of places. It's a member of the 3A. Speaking of, St. Mary's wins a baseball championship just moments ago. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's big for that conference. That's big for Southern Oregon, big for Sean, who's taken off.
Right.
And what a time for St. Mary's. But what's the program like, the football landscape like for you guys?
When I first got there, we had three coaches on staff and very few kids playing. So we're now have 35 kids committed to go to camp this summer, and that's a big deal in Cave Junction.
Frost grounds out, and the Rogues actually get one back. We're tied at 2 after 4. Bruce, it was a pleasure talking to you. We could talk sports forever. I know. You'll have to come back up again. Thanks again for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thanks for
100%. Bruce Reese, the current athletic director, football coach, you name it, everything, up at the Illinois Valley High School. Just about an hour, maybe an hour 15, depending on how fast you're driving here from Medford. And we're excited to have Bruce and the Reese family part of the Medford Rogues this summer. We're tied at 2. We're going to step aside. We're going to come back. It's the top of the 5th when we return. Jaden France back out there. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Back here in the top of the 5th inning, Jaden France back out there for the Medford Rogues. Tanner Tokunaga out there, the leadoff hitter for the Chico Heat, sees the first pitch for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. France working on the 1-0. Tokunaga fouls it away. Count is 1-1. We are tied at 2 here in the top of the 5th. Dory, just seeing your comment there, I know Taylor was up here in the last inning. We were talking to Bruce. Apologize for that, but a ground out for Taylor to end the inning as he went up the middle and a fielder's choice. So the count is 1-1 here in the top of the 5th inning. We're tied at 2. 3 hits for the Rogues, finally getting one in the bottom of the 4th when they needed it the most. We'll see if France can use that as some momentum. France has the count at 2-1. The right-hander deals off the plate 2-1 now, 3 balls and a strike. The Chico Heat tacked on their 2 runs in the top of the 4th. The Rogues in the bottom of the 1st and the bottom of the 4th as Tokunaga fouls it away. Count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. Again, for your convenience, in the description section of the live stream, we've got the live stat link up there for you. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live here on MedfordRogues.com. It's opening night of the 3-game series. The Rogues are 3-0, and the Chico Heat are 2-1. We'll play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday right here at Harry and David Field. Tokunaga draws ball 4, and this brings up Jake Davidson here in the top of the 5th. And your umpires tonight, Eric Martinez behind home plate, and in the field, Mike Carr. Austin Lee throwing the ball well on the other side as well for the Chico Heat. Pretty much getting the Rogues to hit it hard, but hitting it right at guys in the outfield. Guys doing their work out there, and the Rogues actually have 4 errors tonight, most of which credited to Jaden France. He's been tested coming off the mound, to say the least. Made plenty of nice plays, but really been difficult with the footwork for the big guy as Dante Gutierrez goes out there and has a quick conversation with the right-hander. Thanks to Fred Meyer, the Rogues will offer specially priced family ticket packages for each Sunday home game, including this Sunday's against the Chico Heat. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 fountain drinks, and 4 souvenir baseballs for just $44. And these ticket packages are only offered at each of the 3 Fred Meyer stores locally in the Rogue Valley. Don't miss out on the fun. It's Fred Meyer Family Fun Sundays. Count 1 ball, no strikes to Jake Davidson. France comes to a set. Here's the 1-0. Inside and upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. France has thrown 2 strikeouts tonight. Just surrendered 1 hit. But the control and pushing some pitches inside has allowed France to hit 3 batters. Comes back with a strike at the knees, 2-1. Again, you can always follow the Rogues on social media, on Twitter at Medford Rogues, on Instagram at Medford Rogues, and at Medford Rogues Baseball on Facebook. 2 ball, 1 strike count. France gets Davidson to foul it down the third base line to make the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jammed him once again at the hands. And that's been the MO for the right-hander for the Medford Rogues. Come inside on those righties. It's that tailing 2-seamer that just zips inward at these hitters, jamming them at the hands and catching the inside part of the barrel. Really not getting good wood on it at all, to say the least. The Chico Heat, but we're tied at 2. France checks over at first. De La Cruz has a tough assignment staring right in the sun. And we actually saw that come to bite the Rogues last night in the early innings. An easy play to end an inning. And lost in the sun over at first. And Jake Oswald to duck and get out of the way. Chasing that one and fouling it straight back, giving Dante Gutierrez a chance. And he makes the catch as Davidson fanned at it just to try to foul it away. Instead, he pops it up, and Gutierrez makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Cole Lemmel, the right fielder, and the 3-hitter in the Chico Heat lineup, steps in with a runner on first. Struck out in the first, flew out to left to end the 3rd inning. Again, right now on MedfordRogues.com, you can buy your tickets to the next 2 games of this home series. And then the Rogues will be on the road on Monday at the Calusa Casino Stadium, the home of the Marysville Gold Sox and the Yuba City Bears. So if you live in that area and you're tuning in, you should just be at a baseball game because there's practically one every single night this summer between these 2 teams. Hit hard up the middle. This should be 2. Hanna gets 1, tosses to first. De La Cruz drags the toe, and the Rogues get out of a small jam. And the top of the 5th. We are tied at 2. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
sure to follow the Rogues on social media for giveaways, special behind-the-scenes features, and more. Like us on Facebook at Medford Rogues Baseball and follow along on Twitter and Instagram at Medford Rogues.
Bryce Tilton leads things off in the bottom of the 5th inning. Austin Lee back out there. Tilton puts it on the ground. A nice hop to the second baseman. Scoops up a short throw, but picked out of the dirt by the first baseman, Bailey Zimmer, for out number 1 in the bottom of the 5th. This brings up Connor Lowry. 0 for 2 tonight. But Connor Lowry and Johnny De La Cruz were the story last night. A combined for everything, it felt like. Those guys were all over the place. 5 RBI for Connor Lowry alone, including a bases-clearing triple early, which allowed the Rogues to pull away. And then the Rogues would tack on 6 in the bottom of the 8th. Lowry loops that one to right field. Going back and making the catch on his way to the track was Lemmel for the second out of the inning. 3 pitches thrown by Lee in this one, here in the bottom of the 5th.
Second baseman, number 5, Jaden Hanna.
This brings up Jaden Hanna, the 2-batter in the Medford Rogues lineup tonight. He walked and came around to score the first run of the ball game in the bottom of the 1st, and then he flew out to right in the 3rd. Austin Lee has thrown a good game and really minimalized his pitch count by being effective through 2 hitters here in the 5th. And Lee doesn't throw nearly as hard as Jaden France, but he's getting the Rogues to hit the baseball hard, but just hit him in the right spots. Hanna fouls it away, 1-1. So the count is 1-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. We are tied at 2. Chico Heat, Medford Rogues. Great West League Baseball. Game number 1 of 3 between these 2 teams this weekend. Again, back here tomorrow night with a 6:25 pregame and a 6:35 first pitch as the Rogues take on the Heat on their 5th birthday celebration evening. Lifted down the left field line and out of play. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jaden Hanna. Hanna, a Lane Community College guy, but did play last year for the Medford Rogues. Had a really good ending to the season, saw a lot of at-bats in the postseason series as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The right-hander Lee delivers. Popped up and maybe staying in play in foul territory. The third baseman goes over right against the fence. And Joe Bath makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. That was a quick one. I think under 10 pitches for Austin Lee in that inning. So we are through 5. We're tied at 2. We'll go to the top of the 6th. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball, live on MedfordRogues.com. Back here in the top of the sixth inning. Brian Schnee with you tonight. And, of course, as always, our producer and field reporter, Jonathan Kerman, talking to Josh Hogan before and after each game. Back here in the top of the sixth. It's 4-5-6 for the Chico Heat. Chris Smutney leads things off. Here's the 1-0. Inside part of the plate for a strike count, 1-1. France has settled down. Also had a tough time early on just going right at hitters. Was really confident with the fastball inside part of the plate and tailed in and caught a couple guys. And Chico was able to capitalize in the top of the fourth with 2 runs. We are tied at 2. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Chris Smutney, who had a single to lead off the top of the fourth inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Couple new Rogues in town, Ryan Kayota and Davis DeLorfis. DeLorfis getting the start tonight at shortstop, University of Utah. Here's the 2-2. Lifted towards shallow left center. What do you know? DeLorfis takes 2 steps back and makes the catch.
Next up for the Chico Heat,
First out of the inning. This brings up Bailey Zimmer. Hit by a pitch in the fourth, would eventually come around and score the first run. If you need some Medford Rogues info, including ticket info, schedules, team news, and more, it's very easy, MedfordRogues.com. We've got the tickets tab where you can purchase your featured flex packs or your schedule, where you can kind of look at some games, some specific ones, some nightly specials if you're a deal hunter, and, of course, over on our promotional schedule as well. If you're picking a theme night, a specialized night, you can do that all on MedfordRogues.com. And as always, season stats, coaches' bios, team records, and a roster that will update as guys get into town here in Southern Oregon. Quick conference at the mound with Jaden France. And actually, the umpire went over to talk to Jaden France, so Jeff Lyle came out. Pitching coach for the Medford Rogues, wears number 21, has a quick conversation with home plate umpire Eric Martinez. Had we had the technology, maybe a little support from you guys back at home with the dinero, we might be able to mic up Eric Martinez for the rest of the season. But hey, might take a little extra financial support if you feel like writing a check to us. 2929 South Pacific Highway, Medford, Oregon. Easy to do. We will accept and we will cash. Bailey Zimmer is the count at 0-1. Inside, 1-1. 1 away here in the top of the sixth inning. A great night to be at the ballpark. It is a Fill the Park Friday. Special thanks to Cascade Athletics Supply, Bobbio's Pizza in Central Point, and Mary's Barbecue Place, also in Central Point. Rogues fans went there to get their free tickets, and they were all gone before tonight's game. Special thanks to all of you Rogues fans out there for being dedicated enough, cruising around and supporting our local businesses. And, of course, taking advantage of the free tickets that came along with them. Curveball in there, called strike 2, Bailey Zimmer. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Some scores also from the NCAA baseball tournament. LSU taking care of Texas Southern. BYU knocking out Sacramento State. Yale defeated Nebraska 5-1. Davidson over North Carolina. That's a big one, 8-4. Louisville defeats Radford 11-6. Texas knocking off UCLA 3-2. Southern Alabama over Mississippi State 6-3. And Wake Forest over UMBC 11-3. Thanks to BG Gould for the numbers. 3-2 pitch coming. Hit hard to the left side. DeLorfis fields. It popped up at his belt. Nothing he could do. And an error there on DeLorfis. Took a real tough hop as he got deeper into the hole. And this brings up Jack Rodeville, the left fielder. Also scored in the fourth inning. Not much Jaden France could do there as well. Got the ball on the ground. Could have had an easy out number 2. Just ball did not cooperate on the turf. Rogue Regency Inn & Suites is the official host hotel of the Medford Rogues. Whether you're in Southern Oregon for a quick stay or a longer visit, Rogue Regency is a warm, casually elegant atmosphere with plenty to offer, including Chadwick's, the official sports bar of the Medford Rogues. Make sure you head to the post-game party headquarters, Chadwick's Pub and Sports Bar, and the Rogue Regency Inn and Suites. From the stretch, France deals fastball, hit hard down the right field line. That is going to drop and go to the wall. Rounding second is Zimmer. Rodeville on his horse stands up at second, and now runners on second and third, with one out here in the top of the sixth for the Chico Heat. Good piece of hitting by Rodeville. And Chico looking to take the lead here in the top of the sixth. So Zimmer at third, Rodeville at second. Marcus Wilhite, the designated hitter who was grounded out to Jaden Hanover at second twice tonight, will step in here with 2 runners on and just 1 out. Again, you're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Brian Schnee with you, and, of course, our producer tonight, Jonathan Kerman. Also taking care of our live stats this evening. And I'll tell you, Jonathan, I know the term rookie is not good, but it's John's rookie evening on our live stats system, and I know he's doing a great job. You can follow along by clicking the link underneath our audio player on the YouTube stream. Get all the live stats there, so follow along with us and the live stats. Doesn't get much better than that. Keep the pitch count and everything. We make it easy for you. Live on MedfordRogues.com. 1 out, runners on second and third. The right-hander goes to the plate. Wilhite looks at it in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Big thanks to President of the Great West League, Ken Wilson, for stopping by. Also, Athletic Director from Illinois Valley High School, Bruce Reese. Son is Clay Valenzuela Reese. Thanks to Bruce for popping by as well. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. France deals with the infield in. Hurls it over the plate for a strike, count 1-1. Wilhite is the 7 hitter in the lineup. Just finished his sophomore year at Butte College. Designated hitter in tonight's lineup. The 1-1. Wilhite hits that one probably over to U.S. Cellular Community Park. Ripped it way down the right field line, well foul. And I know the kids will run for that one. They're going to have to go well away from the ballpark to find that baseball. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tilton and DeLorphis are on the infield grass. Jaden Hanna playing a little further back. Over at first, De La Cruz is on the grass as well. Dante Gutierrez is actually catching his 4th full game in a row here tonight. And blocks that one, keeping it in front. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners on second and third. We're tied at 2. Chico charging here in the top of the 6th. France from the stretch gets the sign from Dante Gutierrez. And he'll step off. Another great temperature night and comfortable out there. You're at Harry and David Field, the crowd loving it. The drinks are flowing, the food is coming and is being digested with ease. Just a great night to be at the ballpark. 2 balls, 2 strikes. France goes to the plate. Fastball gets hit hard on the ground. Hops terribly up and over the shoulder of Jaden Hanna. He's going to fire to the plate after 1 run scored, another run scored. And Jaden France has had 2 terrible bounces to some of his infielders in this inning. Not much Jaden Hanna could have done at that. That went up by his chin. But 2 runs come home. 5 errors for the Rogues. And not much you could have done. Joe Bath steps in, the 8-hitter. Runner over at first with 1 away. It's a 4-2 lead for Chico here in the top of the 6th, and 5 errors for the Rogues tonight. Rodeville and Zimmer score. Bath, the third baseman, reached on an error in the 4th inning and then grounded out to Jaden France the inning before. Swinging at the first pitch, he lifts it high to shallow left field, a long way for Valenzuela Reese to move to make the catch. He's going to try to double off at first, but it pulled Johnny De La Cruz off the bag. 2 outs.
Next up for the Chico Heat, second baseman, Cade Cloward.
Cade Cloward, the second baseman, the 9-hitter in the Chico Heat lineup, steps in. The Heat are 2-1 on the season, looking to hand the Medford Rogues their first loss of 2017. France comes set, delivers. And the first pitch swinging through and fouling it away is Cloward. Count 0-1. 2 outs. Wilhite over at first. Zimmer and Rotteville have scored now all 4 runs for Chico. Here in the top of the 6th, it's 4-2 Chico. They've got 2 hits. The Rogues have 6. I believe it's 6. Looks like 6 errors on the board. I thought we had 5, but that number jumped on me. No balls, 2 strikes. France goes to the plate, nearly threw it right by Gutierrez. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two outs, runner on first. France trying to work his way out of this inning and get the bats up and moving for Medford. Here's the 1-2. Curveball off the plate, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rogues Baseball is brought to you by Claudio Alvarez Construction and Restoration. Founded over 2 decades ago, Claudio Alvarez Construction and Restoration are there when you need them the most. Whether it's fire, storm, or water damage, the Alvarez Restoration team is ready and willing to bring your home back to how it used to be. We like to say when bad stuff happens, we make good stuff happen. Find us at alvarezrestoration.com or by calling 541-727-7340. 2 ball, 2 strike count to Cade Cloward here in the top of the 6th. A 4-2 lead for the Rogues, or rather for the Chico Heat. The Rogues would obviously prefer that 4-2 advantage. France goes inside again, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Count is full, 3-2, 2 outs. Not much activity from the fan base here tonight. They've been pretty quiet. A good crowd down the third base line. A lot of guys filling in the strike zone seats here at Harry and David Field. The count is 3-2 with 2 outs. Runner over at first. France deals the 3-2. Swinging through and missing is Cloward, and France gets out of the 6th. But Chico gets 2. They've only got 2 hits in this game, but they lead 4-2. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 4-2 Chico. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman in the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
Catch the Rogues all season long, right here on MedfordRogues.com.
Back here live on MedfordRogues.com, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. A 4-2 lead for the Chico Heat here tonight at Harry and David Field. Johnny De La Cruz is going to lead off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So 3-4-5 for the Rogues. De La Cruz 0 for 2 tonight. Has also had a really good season, though, to date in the first 3 games. Hitting .500 so far. First pitch from Brian Coffey, the new left-hander for the Chico Heat, is away and low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. The lefty deals. De La Cruz thought about the bunt, pulled back instead. 2 balls, no strikes. Brian Coffey, 6'1", 215, freshman from the University of New Mexico. Hit hard up the middle past a diving second baseman ranging to his right, and De La Cruz has a leadoff single. So the freshman Coffey, a native of Las Vegas, Nevada, appeared in 6 games during his season at the University of New Mexico. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks in 5 innings pitched. Played high school ball at Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, the left-hander. Looks over at first and will check on Johnny De La Cruz as Jake Helwig steps in. Called strike on Helwig, count 0-1. So Austin Lee went 5, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. Faced 20 batters. Helwig fouls it away, count, no balls and 2 strikes. So De La Cruz now 1 for 3 tonight. Over at first base with no outs in the bottom of the 6th. The lefty goes to the plate. Helwig fends it off into the screen. Count remaining, no balls and 2 strikes. Great night to be here at the ballpark. If you want to check out the entire game schedule, head to MedfordRogues.com. Coffey goes over to first. Here's the 0-2 from the left-hander. He delivers. Helwig fans at it, and now caught in a rundown is Johnny De La Cruz, and he's going to get tagged out. A quick 2 outs for the Medford Rogues. Both Helwig and De La Cruz go to the bench, and 2 quick ones there. Wow. You can't draw that one up. But Coffey gets out of an early single from De La Cruz. And this brings up Clay Valenzuela-Reese. 4-2 lead for Chico here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 away. First pitch swinging is Valenzuela-Reese, and he fouls it away. Count is 0-1. The 0-1 ripped into right field for a 2-out single for Valenzuela-Reese. 1 for 3 on the afternoon and the early evening now as Valenzuela-Reese. This brings up Dante Gutierrez, the catcher for the Medford Rogues.
Now batting for the Rogues, catcher number 20, Dante Gutierrez.
Again, thanks to all of you listening live on MedfordRogues.com, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball. I'm Brian Schnee, our reporter and producer tonight, Jonathan Kerman. Also keeping your live stats for you as well. Check out that link below the video player. As Gutierrez rips the first pitch he sees into right field. A base hit. Valenzuela-Reese going to try for third. The throw is cut off. Runners on the corners. A little two-out rally for the Medford Rogues here in the bottom of the sixth. This brings up Davis DeLorfis. Is 0 for 2 tonight. But back-to-back singles for Valenzuela-Reese and Gutierrez. Might put a little spark in that bat, a little flair. We'll see what DeLorfis can do when we return. There's a call to the bullpen with 2 outs. Runners on the corners, a 4-2 lead for Chico. We're in the bottom of the 6th. We'll step aside. We'll come back, let you know who's back on the mound for the Chico Heat. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
Be sure to follow the Rogues on social media for giveaways, special behind-the-scenes features, and more. Like us on Facebook at Medford Rogues Baseball, and follow along on Twitter and Instagram at Medford Rogues.
Brandon Bachman, the new pitcher for the Chico Heat, the 5'10", 180-pound right-hander from Vacaville, California, a sophomore from Folsom Lake College. Made 7 starts in 15 games at Folsom Lake, a 2-2 record, 3.42 ERA, 42 strikeouts, 21 walks in 55 1/3 innings. DeLorfis swings through the first one, fouling it away, the count 0-1. Runners on the corners, 2 outs, 4-2 Chico, bottom 6. The right-hander deals, got DeLorfis fooled, count 0-2. Great night here at Harry and David Field. Actually, the picture you see up on your screen right now, a lot like how it's going to look this evening. Another great sunset down the third base and the left field line. Thanks again for everyone who's joining us here live on MedfordRogues.com. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group. And you'll have every game live on MedfordRogues.com this regular season, both home and on the road. So take us on the road with you. It's very easy because we're also streaming live off of YouTube, so you can just listen live right off the YouTube app. Subscribe to Medford Rogues live stream, the channel that you're listening to right now, and you should easily be able to navigate to us and also get game replays as well. Count 0-2, 2 outs. Right-hander throws it away, and a run's going to come around to score. The Rogues will take them any way they can, as Valenzuela-Reese trots in from third. Now a runner on second base, and the count is 1-2. So DeLorphis has the 1-2 strike count, 2 outs. It's a 4-3 lead for Chico. Gutierrez at second. DeLorphis gets rung up on the inside part of the plate, but the Rogues get one. It's 4-3 after 6. We'll go to the top of the 7th inning. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
In the bottom of the 6th, there was one.
Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball live on MedfordRogues.com. Not only did Scotty Wright not start in the lineup tonight, but he did hit .376 last season for Colorado Christian University. Started all 40 games, had 56 hits, 3 home runs, 37 RBI, and you know what? He also pitched while he was with the Cougars. Appeared in 8 games, 6 innings, and now Scotty Wright makes his first pitching appearance for the Medford Rogues here in the top of the 7th inning. Top of the lineup for the Chico Heat.
Now batting for the Chico Heat.
First pitch inside to Tanner Tokunaga. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the 1-0 from the right-hander. Fouled away, 1-1. Rogues back at it tomorrow night, 6:35 first pitch, 6:25 pregame live on MedfordRogues.com. 5th birthday celebration. First 500 fans get cupcakes, courtesy of Fred Meyer. The 1-1 from right. Way late on the fastball. Tokunaga has the count at 1-2. Chico Heat 2-1. Medford Rogues 3-0. Currently, it is the Chico Heat who lead 4-3 here in the top of the 7th inning. Here's the 1-2. Late on the fastball and well out of play. Fans, I can't tell you how many times we actually have to replace a window here at the ballpark because of a stray fly ball. But we need our windows fixed or replaced. The only team we trust are the folks at Bill's Glass. with locations in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass. Bill's Glass is the fastest and most affordable glass service in Southern Oregon. 1 ball, 2 strike count, no outs, no one on. Top 7, 4-3 Chico. Right, deals the 1-2. Late on the fastball, and he strikes him out. 4 out number 1 here in the top of the 7th. This brings up Jake Davidson.
Now batting for the Chico Heat, the catcher, number 2.
0 for 2, and he was hit by a pitch in the first. The top of the lineup for Chico has not been that productive. It's really been 5, 6, maybe even you can go 4, 5, 6. But Zimmer and Rotteville have scored the 4 runs combined, 2 apiece. 1 out. Late on the fastball again from right. Count 0-1. Wright had been playing shortstop in the opening series against the Yuba City Bears, but DeLorfis comes to town and gets the assignment, so Wright pops on in and gets some innings as a pitcher. Davidson tried to throw down the late bunt, and he slapped it foul down the third base line. The count is 0-2. Rogues fans, if you're looking for a used car or truck, why not head to the dealer that'll give you the best quality vehicle at the best price? Crater Lake Ford uses real-time tracking software to research similar makes within hundreds of miles to give you the best car shopping experience while saving you time and money. Crater Lake Ford, right cars and trucks, right prices, right experiences. Visit CraterLakeFord.com. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Davidson. It's the curveball upstairs from right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Thanks to all of you sticking around on the live stream. Nice to have you with us tonight. Live from Harry and David Field in Medford, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. We'll try to get that one right. Coming across to make the play is Bryce Tilton. That was chopped on 2 bounces toward the shortstop, but Tilton was able to cut it off and fire over to first for the second out of the inning. Left side has been active tonight. Cole Lamole, the right fielder, steps in with 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning, Scotty Wright drops the curveball in, but upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Wright from the stretch. Here's the 1-0. Off the plate, 2 balls, no strikes. Rogues bullpen quiet. Little movement down there in the Chico Heat bullpen. No one throwing. 2 balls, no strikes. Wright blows the fastball by him. Count 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Scotty Wright has come in and commanded here in relief for Jaden France. France worked hard, got the ground balls when he needed them. They just didn't take the right hops. Jammed inside. Lamole fouls it straight back into the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Count is 2-2 with 2 outs. 4-3 lead for Chico here in the top of the 7th. Right, leg kicks, fires the 2-2. Fastball struck him out, second of the inning. And Scotty Wright, 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 7th. A 4-3 lead for the Rogues. Located just 5 minutes from the I-5 in Grants Pass, Hellgate Jet Boat Excursions is the only place you need to go for the ultimate Rogue River experience. Jet through historic Hellgate Canyon. Lounge at the exclusive OK Corral and feast on an all-you-can-eat homemade barbecue. Visit www.hellgate.com to book your experience today. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Bottom of the 7th inning, Taylor Frost steps in. 4-3 lead for Chico. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch on the way, up and in. Brendan Bachman, the right-hander, out for his second inning of work here in the bottom of the 7th. Count 1-0. Frost looks to the next one outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Frost 0 for 2 tonight, grounded out to the shortstop in the 4th. And flew out to left in the 2nd. Has the count now at 3 balls and no strikes. Again, 4-2 lead for Chico, bottom 7. Nice to have you with us live on MedfordRogues.com, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group. Here's the 3-0. Frost swings. Looks like he swung at that pitch, but threw it away. It was all the way down to first. The first baseman was kind of like, what was that? A unique tactic by Frost. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I heard someone down on the other side of the press box go, did he swing? And from here, it happened so quick, it almost looked like he did, but no discussion to either the umpires, no coaches coming out. Frost is over at first with a 4-pitch walk. So the Rogues have a runner on first base in the bottom of the 7th. Here's Bryce Tilton. Thought about laying down the bunt. He caught it inside. He pulled the bat back, and he's hit. And the ball goes to the backstop on a dead baseball. So runners on first and second. And now the Rogues have them where they want them. Connor Lowry steps in. Cold this evening, but has been more than serviceable. I think that's such a loose term. Has been so effective for the Rogues in the first 3 games of the season. Quick mound visit. The infield comes in to settle down that right-hand pitcher for the Chico Heat, Bachman. Just a unique start to this inning. A 4-pitch walk. Tilton tried to lay down the bunt. So Bachman went inside. Tilton pulled it back and got plunked on the knee. So he did try to get out of the way. Fans can't tell you how many times that we've actually had to replace windows here. I'm actually looking through a window glass that has been broken before, and of course the ones that we trust to fix are the folks at Bill's Glass. With locations in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass, Bill's Glass is the fastest and most affordable glass service in Southern Oregon, and no, it has only been broken once because Bill's was the team to fix it. A wild pitch that bounced in front of the catcher. So now things getting out of control for Chico. Runners on second and third. Lowry looks at a first pitch that bounced, I want to say maybe 6 feet in front of home plate, maybe more. Not quite a 50-cent first pitch, but definitely wasn't pretty. It looks like Bachman almost didn't know what he wanted to throw. So Frost at second, Tilton at third. Connor Lowry at the plate with no outs. Rogues down 4-3, bottom 7. Here's the 1-0. Called strike. Count 1-1. Lowry looks back at Eric Martinez. Thinking perhaps not my pitch. Outer half of the plate, maybe even just slightly off. But here's the 1-1. Lowry dribbles it down the third base line. Looks like he caught the inside of his body, too. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Frost at third, Tilton at second base. Again, it's the Chico Heat and the Medford Rogues here in their first game of a 3-game series here in Medford, Oregon at Harry and David Field, a rematch of last year's Great West League Championship Series. And Chico won it. But the Rogues got the best in the regular season, a 40-win season, the best ever regular season for the Medford Rogues. Here's the 1-2. Off the plate, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Davidson was able to keep it close, so no runners advanced. No outs, a runner 90 feet away, 2 runners in scoring position, the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Connor Lowry. Lowry 5 hits on the season, an average already over 300. 6 RBI. And those are numbers just from the first game, but he lifts this one in the infield. Bachman calls it. Now everyone's calling it. The catcher, Davidson, was the last to call and the last to get his hands on it for out number 1. Timeout called by Davidson. So we've told you about tomorrow night's 5th birthday celebration, but Sunday is just oh so typical. It's a special night here every Sunday night, thanks to Fred Meyer. The Rogues will offer specially priced family ticket packages for each Sunday home game. Each of those games is a 6:35 start. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 fountain drinks, and 4 souvenir baseballs for just $44. And these ticket packages are only offered in the store, the 3 Fred Meyer stores locally in the Rogue Valley. Don't miss out on the fun. It's Fred Meyer Family Fun Sundays, like we will have here on Sunday, June 4th, with Game 3 of the 3-game series between the Chico Heat and the Medford Rogues. But we've got to get through the first 2 nights before we get there. 1 out for Jaden Hanna. Infield in, runners on second and third. Bachman steps off. And it looks like Skipper's going to come out and have a quick conversation. We'll take a quick break as well. 4-3, bottom 7, 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out for Jaden Hanna. When we return, listen to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Bottom of the 7th inning, 1 out, runners on second and third for Jaden Hanna. Andrew Shantz, the right-hander, comes into the game, a junior from Folsom, California. Played at Chico State during his school year, wearing number 17. No count to Hanna, infield in. Here's the no ball, no strike pitch. And it's 1-0. Shantz pitched 2 years at Folsom Lake College, Andrew Shantz, and played high school ball at Vista Del Lago High School in Folsom for the Eagles. The 1-0 from Shantz. Off the plate, 2 balls, no strikes. Here's a 2-0. Called strike on the outer half. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two balls and a strike to Hannah. Hits it hard, a diving shortstop gets a glove on it, a run's going to score. Hannah beats it out over at first base, and the Rogues have tied the ball game. Runners on the corners, and Jaden Hannah hits it hard enough to drive in Taylor Frost, and we're all tied at 4.
Now batting for the Rogues, first baseman number 2, Johnny De La Cruz.
So Tilton at third, and Hannah at first. Shantz has Johnny De La Cruz step in with 1 out. Runners on the corners. De La Cruz swings at the first pitch, trailing and tailing down the right field line, just foul, and sneaks out of play. Count 0-1. So Hannah reaches with a single, and Tilton over at third, count 0-1. Shantz goes to the plate. Up and away, 1-1. In Lincoln, the Potters have a 2-0 lead over the Pickles in the third. Elsewhere, Marysville leads Yuba City. That game is in the bottom of the 5th, as De La Cruz hits that one very foul down the right field line. Three runs for Yuba City despite not having a hit tonight. Medford with 7 hits, 6 errors for the Rogues. That is not a typo. 6 errors for the Medford Rogues, 0 for Chico, and we're tied at 4. Runners on first and third, the 1-ball, 2-strike count to Johnny De La Cruz. The pitch inside, swinging through it, though, is De La Cruz for strike 3. Shantz bared down and fired up and in, and De La Cruz couldn't hold back. Jake Helwig will step in with 2 outs and runners on the corners. Helwig tonight has a single and a double, an RBI and a run scored, but also struck out in his last at bat in the 6th. Here in the bottom of the 7th, the Rogues have scored 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and we're tied at 4 with 2 outs and runners on the corners. We'll check over at first to Jaden Hannah. Shantz deals. Hannah is off. Fake throw down to second, so Hannah now slides in safely without the throw to get the stolen base. Runners on second and third. So Tilton at third, Hannah at second. We're tied at 4 in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2 balls, no strikes to Jake Hellwig, batting from the left side. Here's the 2-0. Called strike at the knees, 2-1. And yes, Chuck, I agree. 6 errors. Doesn't sound good when I say it, doesn't look good on the board. But it's just a reality then. We're still tied at 4. Hellwig swings through. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Thanks to all of you joining us in the live chat, the live conversation. We're live at MedfordRogues.com, streaming on YouTube, and we appreciate all of you joining us on there, and also clicking our live stat link as well. We work hard to make sure that works as Hellwig goes down swinging. Second consecutive strikeout for Hellwig, second consecutive in the inning for Andrew Shantz, who comes in and closes the door, but the Chico Heat will step up with a tie ball game in the top of the 8th inning. The Rogues get one across as Taylor Frost came around to score on a hard hit ball by Jaden Hanna. We'll go to the top of the 8th inning, tied at 4. You listen to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Top of the 8th inning. Scotty Wright back out there for the Medford Rogues. Had a really good top of the 7th. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Cleanup hitter Chris Smutney is in. Had a single in the 4th. Flew out in the 6th, grounded out in the 1st and the inning. Count is 1-1 in the righty-righty matchup. Called strike 2. Coming across the plate on the bender. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And here's the 1-2. Wright comes to his set and delivers. Hard fastball swinging through for strike 3. Scotty Wright grooving. 3 strikeouts in 4 batters faced for Scotty Wright in his first pitching appearance for the Medford Rogues. The last 3 nights, Scotty Wright played over at shortstop. We're tied at 4 in the top of the 8th inning. Chico 2-1 on the year, Medford 3-0. The Heat were trailing last night 6-4 and couldn't come back. The Pickles picked up the win. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes to Bailey Zimmer, who swings at the next pitch, 1-1. Zimmer just 1 strikeout in the first 3 games, did not strike out tonight. But that's been the theme for Scotty Wright. Here's the 1-1. the bender, dribbled foul down the third base line. Count is 1-2. Again, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball, live on medfordrogues.com. Brian Schnee with you tonight. Also got to thank our reporter and producer, Jonathan Kerman, also taking care of live stats this evening. Count is 1-2 strikes here in the top of the 8th, tied at 4. Wright delivers. Fastball swinging through again. Scotty Wright. Have a night, kid. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the 8th inning. Jack Rodeville, the left fielder, steps in with 2 outs, no runners on. We're tied at 4. Two away here in the top of the 8th inning. Just 2 hits for the Chico Heat. Right at the knees for a strike. Man, things just look good when pitchers throw strikes, huh? Jeff Lyle has to be impressed. Christian Coronado, the Cal State Fullerton grad, also has to be impressed. Just pulled in yesterday. Coronado comes on as the third coach for the Medford Rogues to work with pitchers and handle all sorts of other duties, but Coronado pitched at Cal State Fullerton. Count is 1-1. Rodeville swings, rips it to right field for a base hit. So with 2 outs, he breaks up the near flawless inning for Scotty Wright. This will bring up Marcus Wilhite.
Next up for the Chico Heat, the designated hitter number 5, Marcus Wilhite.
So with 2 outs, Wilhite steps in. Left-handed batter's box. Rodeville over at first. He's taking off. Wright goes to the plate. Great jump by Rodeville. Called strike and easily safe is Jack Rodeville. Wright didn't even check him over at first. Didn't mix him up much. So now runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Count 0-1. Wilhite still looking for his first hit this evening. Swings through that one, count 0-2. Fans finally getting into it here when Scotty Wright throws strikes. Been a quiet evening for the faithful here at Harry and David Field. Again, should be even more fun, a little bit more jam-packed tomorrow night for the 5th birthday for the Medford Rogues. Count is 0-2. Scotty Wright looks at second, goes to the plate. Swinging and a miss is Wilhite. Wright strikes out the side. We go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 4. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman in the Newman Group, live on medfordrogues.com.
listening to Medford Rogues Baseball.
Clay Valenzuela-Reese leads off the bottom of the 8th inning. We're tied at 4. Shots back on the hill. First pitch, upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball, live on MedfordRogues.com. My name is Brian Schnee. Nice to have you with us tonight. From a nice crowd at Harry and David Field, and even nicer evening weather-wise, Valenzuela-Reese lifts that one foul. Should be in the stands, and it is. Count is 1-1. Tomorrow night, 5th birthday celebration for the Rogues. Fireworks, cupcakes, surprises, all sorts of good stuff here at the ballpark. Unicorns. Had to say it like that. Unicorns here at the ballpark. If you got a costume, you might as well bring it. Count is 1-1. Hope you'll come celebrate with us tomorrow night. If not, you're stuck with me. 6:25 pregame right here on MedfordRogues.com. Crosses the strike zone. Count 1-2. Here's the 1-2 from the right-hander. Valenzuela fouls it away. For those of you that missed it, you can probably scroll back in the YouTube live stream. We did have Clay's father, Bruce, on the broadcast earlier tonight. Bruce, a well-seasoned coach, athletic director, player, you name it, here in Oregon. Fortunate to have him on the broadcast tonight. Also, president of the Great West League, Ken Wilson. Got to thank Ken for stopping by. And, of course, all of you for interacting with us on the live chat. Keep it up. Love having you with us all season long, both here at Harry and David Field and on the road. We take the road Monday. We'll be seeing what Yuba City and the Bears have got going on in Marysville. It's a funky combination. Valenzuela-Reese rips it over the shortstop for a 2-2 single. No outs, no better way to start the 8th inning if you are Clay Valenzuela-Reese. This brings up Dante Gutierrez. 2 straight singles for Dante. 2 for 3 tonight. No better time than now to get a little production. Shantz came in and pretty much shut the door in the 7th inning. Came in, a lot of single, then struck out De La Cruz and Hellwig. Those are the 3 and 4 hitters for the Medford Rogues. No outs, runner on first. Gutierrez squares the bunt. Pulls back, called strike. Long reaction from Gutierrez. Wasn't so sure about that one. Count 0-1. Valenzuela-Reese over at first. Here's the 0-1. Bunt laid down. Going to fire to second. They get Valenzuela-Reese for the force play. And Valenzuela-Reese almost looked like he ran through second base. He didn't go down. So with 1 out, Gutierrez over at first. Gutierrez calls time, and Davis DeLorfis will step up to the plate. Make sure you join us all season long, right here live on MedfordRogues.com, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. Also follow us on all of our social media platforms. We give you at least one Facebook Live before every game, at Medford Rogues Baseball, on Twitter and Instagram, at Medford Rogues. Swinging at the first pitch is DeLorfis, out of play, count 0-1. Gutierrez over at first. We're tied at 4 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. DeLorfis has the count at 0-1. Shantz on the hill. Gets the sign from Davidson and goes to the plate. Low and outside, 1-1. So as we mentioned, Saturday, tomorrow night, 5th birthday celebration here at the ballpark. First 500 fans get cupcakes courtesy of our friends at Fred Meyer. And, of course, Fred Meyer also taking care of our Sunday games here with the Family Sundays. For $44, 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 fountain drinks, and 4 souvenir baseballs. Pick those up at local Fred Meyer stores in the Rogue Valley. Don't miss out on the fun. It's Fred Meyer Family Fun Sundays. So we'll have one of those on this Sunday. So Chico Heat stick around for 3 games. It's Sunday, June 4th with a 6:35 first pitch. The 2-1 to DeLorphis, called strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes with a runner over at first and 1 out. The Rogues scored in the bottom of the 6th and the bottom of the 7th. Looks a little bit different than the scoreboard did when they played the Yuba City Bears. Explosions in middle innings for the Medford Rogues. 5 runs and 6 runs in selective innings last night. That one bouncing in front of Davidson. He keeps it in front. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Taylor Frost on deck. DeLorphis tonight in his debut at the plate, 0 for 3. Struck out looking in the 6th and flew out in the 4th and 2nd innings. Here's the 3-2. Low and away, ball 4. Gutierrez at second, DeLorphis at first. So Taylor Frost will step in. Fans making a little noise here for Frost. Scored in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 out, runners on first and 2nd. DeLorphis in the right-handed batter's box. First pitch downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Count 1-0. Shantz goes to the plate. In there for a strike. 1-1. Count 1-1. Shantz looks over at second and would have had Gutierrez on a pickoff move, but no one there. Just keeping him honest. Frost fans at the next pitch. Count 1-2. Runners on first and second. 1 away. Bottom 8. We're tied at 4. Here in game 1 of a 3-game series, Frost looks at 1 at the knees for strike 3. Bryce Tilton will step in, the 9-hitter for the Rogues. Medford had a relatively easy time with the Yuba City Bears, but their defense looking a lot like game 1 of the year. 5 errors for the Rogues, game 1, 6 tonight in the first game of this 3-game series. Chico yet to commit an error, but the thing that matters is we're tied at 4. Josh Berman, Medford native, will step in to pinch hit for Bryce Tilton. And we've seen Josh over at third, so he will likely make that replacement. Berman, a former Medford Mustang, who I believe plays on Sunday, right here at Harry and David Field. That's a question mark. I'll have to look that one up. I was talking to Jordan Reagan last night on the broadcast, first pitch downstairs to Berman, about his Mustang career. What a great program, American Legion program here in Southern Oregon. If you hop across the hill over to Klamath Falls too, just so much history with the Falcons, with the Mustangs, state championships, and all sorts of regional wins, bringing them to Shelby, North Carolina to compete in the World Series. Really cool stuff. Berman hits it hard on a line to center field, diving, And making a spectacular catch is the center fielder. Tokunaga makes a game-saving catch in the bottom of the 8th. That could have broken it open. Instead, we're still at a 4-4 tie.
No errors and 2 runners left on base. Remember, fans,
We're back with the top of the 9th. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball live on MedfordRogues.com. Top of the 9th inning, Scotty Wright back out there. He's got 8-9-1 in the Chico Heat lineup, and it's a tie game at 4. If you're just joining us, let's break it down through the scoring on the scoreboard for this one. The Rogues struck first in the bottom of the first inning. Chico jumped ahead 2-1 in the top of the 4th. The Rogues tied it up in the bottom half. Chico got 2 more in the top of the 6th. The Rogues got 1 in the bottom half of the 6th and the 7th, and we're tied at 4. 2 balls, no strikes to Joe Bath, the third baseman. 2 balls, no strikes. Scotty Wright deals. Inside part of the plate for a strike. Chico Heat starting pitcher Austin Lee went 5 innings, surrendering 3 hits, striking out 1, walking 1, and allowing 2 earned runs. Jaden France allowed 4 unearned runs in 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, but also committed a couple errors in the field, as Scotty Wright plunks Joe Bath with the fastball.
Number 3, Cade Cloward.
Third hit batsman by Rogues pitching tonight. This brings up the 9-hitter Cade Cloward. The second baseman has struck out twice. First pitch misses. 1 ball, no strikes. Tilton's replacement, Josh Berman, playing well inside the infield grass over at third. Let's figure the words out here tonight. Grass over at third. 1 ball, no strikes. Right from the stretch. Goes to the plate, fouled away, 1-1. Cloward squares the bunt on the first 2 pitches, got contact on the second. Count is 1-1. When the Rogues come up in the bottom of the 9th, they will have the top of the order, Connor Lowry, Jaden Hanna, and Johnny De La Cruz. No outs, 1-1. The count to Cade Cloward, and the home plate umpire, Eric Martinez, calls a balk, which will draw discussion from Josh Hogan. Well, Mike Carr is standing about 10 feet behind the right-hander on the bump, and he didn't make a call. So the decision was made behind home plate by Martinez, and Hogan, for I think the 3rd time tonight, comes out for a quick chat. And same result. Not much has changed, but Cloward goes to second base now. Rather, Bath over at second. Cloward here still trying to see if he's going to move him over with bunts. Has squared on the first 2 pitches. So Bath at second, Cloward at the plate, no outs. Tied at 4, top 9. Right, looks over at second, goes to the plate. Another bunt squared, right has it. Bare hands, fires to third. Berman tags him out. What a play. Scotty Wright knows how to field the baseball, having played it short the last 3 nights. Comes off the mound, makes a nice play, fires to Berman at third. Lays down the tag, and that ends somewhat of a threat, but a runner on first with 1 away. So Cloward at first, Tokunaga at the plate. Made a great catch in center to end the bottom of the 8th. Swings at the first pitch. That one hit to shallow left field. DeLorfis ranges back and makes the catch. 2 outs. This will bring up the catcher, Jake Davidson.
Next up for the Chico Heat, catcher number 2, Jake Davidson.
0 for 3 tonight, and was also hit by a pitch in the first. Tied at 4 here in the top of the 9th inning, 2 outs. First pitch to Tokunaga just misses low. 1 ball, no strikes. 3 hits for the Chico Heat tonight, 8 for the Medford Rogues. But no errors for Chico, 6 for the Rogues. One-0 count to the catcher Davidson, the 2-hitter in the lineup. Now 2 balls, no strikes. 2 pitches below the kneecaps. Got to say, at the very least, Scotty Wright has been impressive coming in from the bullpen, taking over for Jaden France. That one hit hard to right. It's going to bounce in front of Jake Helwig, who slides and keeps it in front of him. It's an extra base saver right there by Helwig to get the ball in quickly. Runners on first and second. Gutierrez comes out from behind home plate to make some adjustments. Cole Lamole, the right fielder, steps in. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. We're tied at 4. The right-hander meets a batter in the right-handed batter's box. Lamole is 0 for 4 tonight. Late on the fastball, count 0-1. Nice piece by Davidson in the last at bat to drive it to the right center field gap. Even better job by Helwig to keep it in front. Scotty Wright catches the sign from Gutierrez, looks at second. Long hold, goes to the plate. Strike. Count 0-2. In a groove is Scotty Wright. Count is 0-2, top of the ninth. Tied at 4, 2 outs, runners on first and second. Rogues trying to hold the heat. Here's the 0-2 from Scotty Wright. Swinging and missing, strike 3. Lamole goes down, breaks his bat on the ground in frustration. And Scotty Wright has 6 strikeouts in 3 innings. We're tied at 4 going into the bottom of the ninth. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Welcome back to Harry and David Field, bottom of the ninth. Connor Lowry up at bat against Andrew Shantz, the right-hander in relief for Chico. We're tied at 4. 1, 2, 3, the top of the order for Medford Rogues baseball here in the bottom of the ninth, trying to break the tie and come away with a win on night 1 of 3 against the Chico Heat, second home series of the young season for the Medford Rogues. Shantz, long hold, deals off the plate. 3 balls, no strikes. Again, I appreciate all of you for joining us on the live chat tonight. James, I do have you listening from Fort Worth, Texas. Appreciate the support from across the country. Here's the 3-0, called strike at the belt. Count is 3-1 to Connor Lowry. Now, Connor's been great in the first 3 games tonight. Still seeking a hit. He is 0 for 4. Count 3-1. Shantz from the stretch. Goes to the plate, the 3-1, lifted in the air, in foul territory. Catcher throws his mask off. Davidson looking, and it's out of play. Count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. Think about the entire crowd filled with kids is often looking for that baseball. Count is 3-2. Listen to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live here on MedfordRogues.com. We're with you every single night. The Rogues have lots of games in a short amount of time, and we will be here with you for all of it. And Lowry draws a walk.
Now up for your Medford Rogues second baseman, number 5, Jaden Hanna.
This brings up Jaden Hanna. Hanna came in last night for Josh Berman in the middle innings and had 2 hits and was just an immediate impact player for the Rogues. Scored twice, including a 2 RBI double in the 8th inning, the breakout inning for the Rogues. Here in the bottom of the 9th, we're tied at 4. Lowry is off and running. Hanna squares the bunt, and Lowry gets punched out at second base. What a throw by Davidson. 1 away in the bottom of the 9th. So Hanna steps back in there to go against Shantz with no one on. Here in the bottom of the 9th. The pitch. Off the plate. Count is 1-1. Hanna drops out of the batter's box, waiting on Shantz. Count is 1-1. Swinging through and missing, count 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jaden Hanna. Hitting from the left side tonight. We're tied at 4. We're in for a great ending here on MedfordRogues.com. Bottom 9. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 away, no one on. Rogues. Shantz goes to the plate on the 1-2. Lifted foul down the left field line. Again, we got to say it one more time for those of you in Southern Oregon. Congratulations to St. Mary's School of Medford winning the 3A Baseball State Championship earlier tonight. They were down 3-2 in the 6th, rallied and rallied. Came back to win the ball game. Congratulations to the Crusaders. Count is 1-2. Count 1-2 to Hanna. Fouls it off his ankle. Keeps the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Hanna stretching the at-bat here at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shantz deals. Another piece. Staying alive is Jaden Hanna. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He looks down at Jeff Lyle down the first base side. Gives a couple hand motions saying, what am I doing here? Always catch some interesting words of wisdom from Coach Lyle before the games down in the cages. Couple hours before the games, working on everyone's swings and, of course, specialization in pitching. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Hanna late on the fastball. This brings up Johnny De La Cruz.
First baseman, number 2, Johnny De La Cruz.
2 outs, bottom 9, tied at 4. Shantz has thrown the ball real well since coming in. Had 2 quick strikeouts in the bottom of the 7th. Worked his way out of a jam in the 8th. And now here in the 9th, he's been able to get him out relatively quickly here in the top of the lineup. Went off the plate, 2 balls, no strikes. De La Cruz swings through. 2 balls and a strike. Again, no one on. Tie score, bottom 9. Again, for those of you just joining us, Chico had 2 runs in the top of the 4th, 2 in the top of the 6th. The Rogues had 1 run apiece in the 1st, 4th, 6th, and 7th. De La Cruz fouls it away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Count is 2-2. Again, we're back here tomorrow night, 5th birthday. Big night here at the ballpark. If you cannot make it, you will not miss the game. We will be here for you, 6:25. The pregame, 6:35 first pitch. De La Cruz strikes out looking, and Shantz comes in and gets 3 up, 3 down indirectly with Connor